Donna, where's mommy? Tell her to come here. Have him be quiet so it's too loud on me. And then when you can, hopefully you just check him on Facebook, see if he goes by. But just have him.
This was an incredible
put them in
event.
the room.
And I highly recommend Roofer.
Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Spotlight by Roofer. I am your host, TJ McCormack, also known as the world's greatest roofer. I'm here tonight with Logan Lambert, somebody I've been watching on social media for quite some time. Man, he's known as the rapping roofer. Dude, it's great to have you, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on the show, TJ. I'm excited to be here, man.
Yeah, no, I've been watching the Rapping Roofer. The first time I think I saw you on TikTok or maybe it was Instagram. I was like, who is this guy? And you probably said the same thing when you saw me on TikTok. You're like, who's that world's greatest roofer guy, right? Because we all check each other out, man. But no, man, tell us a little bit about yourself if you don't mind.
Sure, man. Yeah, I live in Baltimore, Maryland. It's definitely a different place than the rest of the world for sure. But we do got the best crabs.
Yeah, man, I'm from Northern Virginia, so I know that the blue crabs are the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So I basically born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, from Dundalk. So we'll get into later about the straight out Dundalk stuff. But I've got a wife, 4 kids. And former heroin addict, man. God radically saved me 5 years ago and never been the same, man, and got into the roofing world and into what I am today. But loves, doing the social media stuff, man, and putting out content consistently, similar to, kind of what you do, man.
Yeah, that's so amazing to hear. I actually saw a comment just before we went live tonight from somebody that calls himself the Roof Genius, and he was like, Logan's a great guy. This is going to be great content. So, tell us a little bit about how you got into the roofing industry and how you became the rapping roofer.
Yeah. So I ended up. I was actually. It's very similar to stories that you hear how guys end up in roofing. It's like kind of at the end, and they end up in sales or things like that. But I was working for a pest control company, not sales. I was actually an exterminator, chasing rats, killing bed bugs, roaches, doing that like every day. And I got to a point with that company. The company got to a point to where they were pretty much ready to shut down. Checks started to bounce and those types of things, and it just wasn't looking good. Owner came to me and kind of was like, hey, I wanted to have a conversation with you. Guys were leaving. I honestly thought he was going to make me a supervisor because I had worked hard, and basically told me, hey, I'm in debt, wanted to see if you're sticking around. And I was like, I've got wife and kids. How I ended up into the roofing world, I pretty much was at the end of that job and kind of didn't know where to go or what to turn to. And I knew a guy that owned a roofing company, and it was like, hey, I think you'd be great. Come and join our sales team. Of course, it's commission based only, super scary. You got no idea. I've never sold a thing in my life, and went there. Looked at that board and seen all these people putting crazy numbers up and all the money they were making, and joined the team, and I crushed it. So started doing really well for the company. but I wanted to brand myself differently and generate my own leads. So I've always rapped. I rapped since, high school, even middle school, honestly. And it was funny story is I was like talking to my wife and I'm like, I got to come up with like a catchy name. I'm like, what about like the Roofing Rapper? And she's like, that's stupid. Like it has to be the Rapping Roofer. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That was pretty dumb. And I started making crazy social media content. So I never installed roofs. I sold roofs.
Yeah.
Sales guy. And I started making crazy social media content. I would jump out of the truck and like, hey, you sick and tired of high pressure sales guys? And I'd slam somebody in the bush or throw people in a pool. And I built a following by doing that. And I used to really crush it on the local community pages.
Yeah.
And through my videos and through all the content, I consistently did it. And I started selling a lot of roofs in Dundalk to a lot of people. Yeah. And that's basically it. I wrote for the company that I was with, I wrote I think 3 or 4 songs. Started from the bottom. I remixed it. X Gonna Give It To You. I remixed that. Whoop That Trick. I remixed that. And I mean, they were pretty good songs. And we did music video for one of them. And that's kind of where the Rapping Roofer started. Then that company pretty much went under, man. Guy owes me like 10 grand. Unfortunately, I'm sure in this industry. And then I went to another company, which didn't want me to so much be the Rapping Roofer, a professional company, which I understand. I get it. Like they have an image to obtain or uphold. And then I was doing all that, man, and Straight Out of Dundalk happened, and that took off, and here I am now doing commercials and jingles for businesses.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
You say that, and that's something that I preach a lot when I'm teaching, because I teach the personal branding and then also the business branding from the portion of the social media content or the short form video content. And I'm always making sure that I tell roofing company owners, let your sales guys be themselves and let them go on camera if it's not something that's going to be, detrimental, talking about religion or politics or the things that are divisive out there in the world today that we all get into fights over, right? It's really important to let sales guys find their niche and build your own lead generation stream. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree with you. Yeah, because at the end of the day, of course you're going to get inbound leads as a company. Right. And maybe your team is door knockers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's what I've learned is people are glued to their phones. Number one, everyone's glued to this. If you can show up on this, number one, though, it's a warm lead, right? Because they're probably going to reach out to you or they've seen you consistently. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's better than a guy you bring onto your team has his own following and now his leads are also self-generated. Sure. Like when I was at that company that didn't want me to be that guy, I had more self-generated leads than their entire team, guys that's been there for 6 years. Yeah. I did it in 6 months. I had more leads from the self-gen and they were kind of like, well, how? And I'm like, I'm consistent on Facebook. Yeah. I built a buzz, I built a following, and I've, consistently hammered it. And yeah, maybe to some people that type of content isn't what they want to see, but that's not my customer,
Yeah, exactly. The same way I feel about it is like, I always say my following is my following and your following is your following.
Correct.
Because people follow me for the reasons that they follow me, and they're going to follow you because of the reasons that they like you or whatever you do, because everybody's different and algorithms are built off of the way that we react to things, the way that we like things, we share, we favorite, and then the things that we watch the most of. So the people that the algorithm are going to pair you with or going to consider you as the best match to be friends with are people that are like-minded like yourself. And if it makes sense when you're trying to sell yourself to these homeowners or business owners that they would choose somebody that they genuinely like and get along with. And people buy from people. So that's good to hear from, man. How are you utilizing what you do now and helping roofers in a day-to-day?
Yeah, I mean, like this morning, shooting a commercial for a roofing company. And I know the roofing world in and out. I mean, I've did sales for years with these roofing companies. So really any business, but of course I love the roofing world because that was, I mean, that was my world, man, and I loved it. So what I do currently is commercials and jingles, funny organic content. So we're shooting a commercial for a company, and it's a funny. It hasn't aired. We haven't put it out yet. It's more social media, but we're in my living room, and like there's a over the shoulder shot of like a guy in a hurricane. Like, I mean, whoever this news anchor was, he needs a raise. He was serious. And he's fighting like 130-mile-an-hour winds, and all of a sudden a storm shows up, and we end up outside, and all the shingles are blown off. We had the roofers like rip shingles off during install today,
right?
And so I come outside, and boom, and then the company shows up in the middle of it, and so just kind of with creative content is how I'm helping that world now, man.
Yeah. What do you think that's working the best for these companies, or what are some things that some roofing companies can do to make their companies be seen more, or to be more effective in reaching people at the level like we do?
I would say organic content. They got to have content that is different, but it's got to be consistent. Like what I've noticed is just in businesses in general is the lack of consistency. Like you can't post 2 months ago, and that's the only post until today. And it's in the things that they post. Like I see roofing companies, it's just like a generic before and after picture, or it's just a shot of a pack of shingles. Get creative with your content. Have a camera guy on a roof while they're nailing shingles down. Have your field quality manager out there with a camera. Hey, my name's James with so-and-so, and this is what we do. And get that creative content and hammer social media consistently with it. And I think most importantly, brand yourself. Find your niche, what makes you different than everyone else, and run with it. And hammer Facebook and social media. It's a lot. It really is. Even on my end, I'm like, gosh, it's so much to post all the time. But I think being consistent and have just good content. Like, yeah, you can do great. A good before and after pictures are great. I'm not saying not. But I've seen people, and it really bothers me, they put the after picture first and the before. And it's like just that type of simple stuff, man. Be creative, be thoughtful of the content that you're producing. And make some stuff funny, though. People like to laugh. That's the best content is that I've produced for businesses at this point is the stuff that makes people laugh.
Back in the old days, there was Reader's Digest, right? When we were kids, and everybody always had those books in their house. And the one thing that always stuck out was the one part of that book or that monthly thing that said laughter is the best medicine.
It is, man.
Yeah.
Just keep people laugh.
Yeah. And then also something I also say is be an influencer, not an infomercial, because we don't always need to be selling anything. We're just being ourselves, and people will genuinely like you. And it's not always about selling a product, or it's always about selling yourself, right?
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, people got to feel, hey, look, this guy he's funny. I feel comfortable, just even, calling him because I've watched his videos and things like that. And it's been that type of content that I've seen has worked the best is have it organic. I've talked with business owners. They say, well, we don't really want any funny content. And I get it. I'm not saying that they're wrong in that light, but it is good to have some humor periodically in those types of videos because people remember that. and that's usually the videos that go viral. Is the funny ones,
the funny ones, or the real
Crazy.
serious ones that are crazy, right?
Sure.
But then also the videos that I've seen a lot of times go viral for me is just a simple roofing video where, like what you just said, a guy nailing 6 across the top, da 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 da, and it's that noise that the algorithm picks up and it decides to show people because it doesn't know what that noise is. So it's trying to figure out if people like ourselves or people in construction or wherever are going to actually watch it. But I think that that roofing videos could get a lot of views from lots of different people, because one of the best shows out there that's ever been out there is called How It's Made, right? And people are always trying to watch to learn or to see, how it's made, right?
Sure.
And they like the roofing stuff. So, but I asked you before the show today, I was like, hey, you're called the Rapping Roofer. Would you mind doing a rap for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, hold on. Well, I mean, do you need any music, or do you need a second to set up or anything?
Do you have you want me to just put a beat on?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put a beat on, I'll do this. Hold on one second. I'm gonna share your screen so you can. Oh, why is it not? Hold on one second. Why is it not letting you go to be the big screen? Oh well, here we go. We'll get it back. All right. Well, for some reason, it's not allowing me to make your screen bigger.
It's probably because. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, so I would probably, yeah. But well, if you're ready, man, I'll just let you take it away, and everybody at home can enjoy the beats of the Rapping Roofer.
So the song that I'll it's of course straight out of Compton. We remixed it and we did Straight Out of Dundalk. That song went I mean, it was like 250,000 views in like a week or something. It took off. We were on WJZ, Denise Coke, the news. It was crazy. But I wrote this song driving in my work van, selling roofs in one day, and it took off, man. So let me see it. Can you hear that?
Yep.
Okay, I'll give it to you. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I said, straight out of Dundalk, crazy guy named the Rapping Roofer. At the Boulevard Diner tearing food up. You know me, born and raised in the Dirty D. We got the wildest people, no hyperbole. You need a roof, you know you better call me. The flow is nasty like the Popeyes by Aldi's. I keep it moving like the MTA bus. And you know them golden eggs belong to us. If you're scared of driving on Dundalk Avenue, mention pink elephants when you passing through. That's all it takes for you to be safe. Them squeegee boys will back right up out your face. I'm always up and down Merritt Boulevard. I'm just looking for shingles sitting in your yard. I grab my ladder and jump up on your roof, and then I climb down and jump up in the booth like this. Only took a day to write this. Here in Dundalk, all my friends are flight risk. Y'all the island gonna hate this or like this. Tell any Dundalk rapper we the nicest. Boom. Watch this go like a grenade. Why the haters throwing shade? Man, they love us on this page because we going liver than the Dundalk parade. You come into our neighborhood, don't get stuck. They'll cut the Cadillac converter off your truck. As we leave, we won't run but walk. And when we come back, boy, we're coming straight out of Dundalk. And then my buddy,
that's awesome, man.
Right there.
Good job, man. Good job. That's so great. That's the song that I saw. I happened to be scrolling through, I think it was like Level the Playing Field, and somebody had shared that video of you being on the news.
Yeah.
Being from Northern Virginia myself, Baltimore and Washington, D.C. news was always something that I watched anyway. So I was like, wait a second, that's Baltimore news.
Sure.
And, but yeah, man, I saw that and I was like, that's so great. Like, I can only imagine how much business that drummed up for you.
Sure.
So, yeah, yeah, no doubt. I do this in every spotlight. And I give somebody the opportunity to describe something for me. And what I usually say is roofing is blank. And what's that blank for you? Roofing is blank.
I would say roofing is a gold mine.
A gold mine. That's a good one, man.
I mean,
yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, like I think when last time we talked, I talked about starting my own roofing business. Like
Sure.
when I left the roofing company that I was at, there was those. I thought that was going to happen. This business doing the skits and jingles for businesses took off. I did register an LLC. Never went and got my MHIC license. I'm registered as a salesperson in Maryland, but I know it's a hustle, man. You know what I mean? And I loved it. Love the in and out, the aspect of it, and I know there's companies out here and even sales guys, man. It's such a lucrative job and like opportunity. It's crazy because like people didn't even have to. I mean, I graduated high school, but somebody don't have to graduate high school.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I mean, you literally could just, if you can close deals or learn to work with insurance companies and all that, you could make over six figures and take care of your family really well. So I'm telling you, it's definitely an opportunity for so many people out there that are tired of dead end jobs. But the thing that I realize most is people are so scared to go from that hourly job to a commission only job, but if you can do it and it does well, you'll never go back.
Yeah, I know people that have 2 master's degrees. There are people that have doctorate degrees that are in the roofing industry, and there are people just like us that I just graduated from high school. I didn't have any other schooling other than being a cop, right? And
Sure.
Also, when I went to the military, I became a torpedoman in the military. And, being a torpedoman doesn't relate to anything in the real world. So I didn't get any training to do anything in this world. So becoming very successful and making 6, almost 7 figures a year in the roofing industry now, where people with those double master's degrees that are still struggling to make their first 100,000.
Sure.
It can happen to anybody. And if you're out there listening to this right now and you're trying to decide whether or not to make the jump to roofing, you should definitely try it. If you say, oh my God, it's sales, oh my God, it's going to be horrible, I'm not going to make any money, I got to make commission or whatever because my wife or my husband's going to say something about that. You know what? The only way to get off to do something new is to go out there and try it and do the damn thing. And Dundalk is not an easy place to live, man. Baltimore is a rough place.
Sure.
How has that affected you in your life and then also in sales?
Yeah, but Baltimore can definitely be a tough place to sell for sure. Yeah. I mean, but like I mentioned to you, man, I was a drug addict. Like I lived in an abandoned house in Southwest Baltimore, like in the projects.
Yeah.
And kind of just piggyback on where people came from, like that's where I came from, and got in trouble, convicted felon, those types of things. But sales, I never forget, I had a sales manager, man. He told me this. He said, Logan, I'll tell you this one thing. He said, if you can learn to sell, you'll have a job forever. You could go anywhere on the planet and be able to sell. And he's right. I could go to Bob Bell Nissan tomorrow. And I would close the sales manager on why he needs to hire. But no, sure, Baltimore's definitely a different world. Dundalk is definitely a community that if you're doing people dirty and those types of things like that, it's over for you, man. They're a close-knit community. There's a lot of flack about Dundalk and, a lot of people hate on it, but it's a good community, man. People stick together and support one another, man, and try to help each other out. And it's been good because now what I'm doing is with the commercials and jingles that we do, it's been mostly businesses in Dundalk that seen us. We went viral, but they believed in us, and they're allowing us to come and work for them and do business, produce content for them. So
man, that's awesome.
It's been good. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, tell me a piece of advice that you'd like to give somebody that might be aspiring to be like you, or to come into this roofing industry. Either one.
I would say learn everything you can. Like if you're aspiring to come into it, just do it. Like fear will stop you from taking that first step. And believe me, I know it's scary because, you know, I had a family and bills and I went into it, but it was such a great opportunity that I'm glad I took it, because probably 99% of the world will never. Fear will stop them from taking that first step. So if there's people out there listening, I would absolutely, I would do it. Step in.
So somebody just said they made the jump into roof sales and they're liking it so far. Prior military and auto sales experience. Excited to see how things go during their first year. You know, if I could give you a piece of advice being in your first year is you need to hustle and you don't need to give up. You know, sun up to sundown is a way of life during the season, and the season's going to come to an end. You're going to be able to catch your breath again, but you're going to make so much damn money that you're not going to know what to do with. So keep hustling and go out there and grind every day. I want to give you an opportunity to tell people how they can find out more about you or to where to follow you at.
Sure, man. So you can clearly just go to Facebook, you look me up, Logan Lambert. But I also have a Facebook page, Skits and Jingles Advertising. We also have a YouTube channel, Skits and Jingles Advertising, and I'm also on LinkedIn as well. So any business owners out there, just look up Logan Lambert, search us up. What we basically do is produce content for businesses and also write jingles. Right. So, you know, that anybody that's listening, you live in a different state, we got a professional studio, we can make it and send it out. And check us out. Please follow me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, my page, things like that. And I would really appreciate it. Share this video if you can. And I'm super thankful, man, TJ, you let me on here. And,
yeah, man. No, I'm excited to have you. Thanks so much, Logan. I'm going to say this before we close. You know, everybody out there, if you're interested in learning more about how to market your company better, grow your sales team, and learn from, you know, actual roofers. Roofer is putting on an event at the end of this month and the beginning of November called Rise. It's called Rise, a Roofer Roadshow. We'll be in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, and San Antonio, Texas. So you have the opportunity to come out and meet people like Benjamin Tiger, Amanda Primal, Vinot. You'll also be able to meet Hunter Ballou and hear Hunter Ballou speak, as well as Diego Dante and about 24 other people that I chose and our team has built up over the past few months of building this out for you. So I just wanted the opportunity to say that, and I wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. If you're just joining us right now, you didn't get to hear Logan rap, but this will be shared across social media, so you'll be able to go back and listen to it again. But Logan, thank you so much for being here, dude. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to close it out with a video, and sure. Then you and I can chat after just for a second.
Thank you.
This was an incredible event.
And I highly recommend Roofer.